Welcome to the Freight Agent Insider Podcast, hosted by Levi Van Pay.
All right, we're in. We're live. Welcome, everybody. Come on in. The water is warm. Actually, it's not, at least not here in Wisconsin. It's not even water anymore. It's ice. I guess it's still water, but it's getting cold here. That's okay, because the conversation we're about to have is going to warm us all up, because we got a hot one. Reminder to everybody, if you have not liked us on YouTube, Spotify, find us on TikTok, Freight Agent Insider. Appreciate all the likes, the comments. Say what's up. Today is going to be fun. Got to welcome in the one and only Mama Duck, Serena Kanline. How are you today, Serena?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. You are the first guest. This is repeat business at this point. You're the first guest that's come back for round two. Didn't scare you away the first time. So excited to hop on with you again.
I like it.
I hear the ducks.
I know. I have the best lighting outside, and it's really nice out. And there's also about to be a handyman in my kitchen, so we don't need
handyman, not Candyman.
Not Candyman.
Not Willy Wonka.
Not Willy.
So yeah, we're doing this thing, and we're doing this thing because, well, first of all, I love you. Everybody who watches you and interacts with you on LinkedIn and everywhere else loves you. So we're going to do it again, and we'll probably do it more often than not. We talked about doing this maybe once a month. Keep that good energy going throughout the winter. So Serena, I thought it would be kind of interesting, since we've already done this once. Maybe we'll just keep this more of like just a straightforward conversation, ask some questions. There's a lot of people out there who are either on the W-2 side or just newer to the industry, who are looking to kind of get a start. And, you know, you're a little bit, we didn't really talk about this last time, but you are a little bit newer to the industry. If you could like fill everybody in one more time, how did you kind of find your way into the freight agency world? And we'll talk more, I guess, about like the intricacies of like when you should start, if you're not ready, and all that.
Honestly, I just got to a point, we had moved far from where I was bartending, and I just really just wanted something I could do from home. I was kind of spinning my wheels, like trying to figure it out. And a friend of one of my husband's coworkers was like, I can get her on at Fast Cat if she wants to try it. And I was like, I mean, whatever. I can at least try it, right? I can do it from home. We really all just I have a team lead. She's now my team lead, but she just really trained me and helped me kind of get my feet wet. And I can obviously call her if I ever need anything, but we all just kind of operate on our own, which is what I like. Like, I don't want people I don't want somebody like telling me how to do my stuff and how to handle my customers and how to like get new business and whatever. And I went straight into 1099.
You never did W-2?
Never. I had no knowledge of the industry, no background information. I don't even think I knew that this was a thing. Like, I didn't know that there were people that booked the trucks that you see on the road. Like, I had no knowledge.
Until you're in logistics, no, you just see the stuff in the grocery stores. Yeah, right.
So, I came on. I really liked the company itself. Like, the president's really great. The team is great. But it was one of those things where my husband was like, listen, he has a very good job, but, we had just built this new house, and, I'm still like a little bit toxically independent. So regardless of the fact that he can easily cover our bills, I still need to be able to contribute. And he was like, listen, I can manage things for, as you know, we can give this a shot, but it's got to have a time limit if you don't start making real money in like X amount of time. And I was like, that's fair, you know, whatever. He was like, but if this takes off, like it's a really good opportunity. Like if you know, you have the potential to do really well if you get in and get
Yeah.
it going. And I was like, all right, well, let's see. And I did. I ended up getting really lucky within the first few months. And then I think I ended up getting top sales. I started in September of last year. The first time I got top sales was, I think, the end of December, maybe early January. And I've had it since then. So, and, you know, I just have like high volume. And again, it's really only 2 high volume. But the second one was a referral from the first one.
It's the best business.
Yeah. Well, I wasn't willing to cold call.
I remember talking to you about this.
So I just never, I think I did it once.
Let me ask you a question, if you don't mind, Serena. And we talked about this a little bit before we got started. Yeah. So you basically have 2 larger customers make up the bulk of your business. I've devil's advocate a little bit. I've always heard brokers say, always look for new business to replace your current business in case you lose that business.
Yes.
From the reaction there, if you're listening to this,
I know. I'm
you need to
well
see it.
aware that this could come out from under me at any moment. Right. But here's how I look at it.
Lay it on us.
If I'm doing everything that I possibly can to give these customers 1000%, they don't have a reason to look elsewhere.
Well put.
And I get it. Things happen. You know, I know that things happen. I took my biggest customer out from under somebody, not on purpose. They came to me. But that other person that they were using was failing. They left the door open. And I had spoken to him before because I was running stuff to him every single week for my other customer. And I was on the phone with him about something else, like one of my trucks coming in or something, you know, whatever. And he was like, yeah, I don't really like brokers. I use blah, 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 blah. And I was like, okay, like I'm here if you need me. I'm never going to bug you about it. You have my number. No harm, no foul. And I was like, that was kind of rude, but whatever. It was what it was. A couple months goes by and he reaches out to me. And I was like, okay. And you know, we have a really good working relationship now. We operate on the same like humor level. I think he kind of appreciates that I kind of make light of a pretty stressful job that he has. Like I'm able to like lighten it up a little bit because we're all stressed out. If I can't like text my customer a ridiculous meme and have them laugh in the middle of their workday, I don't want it. And vice versa. Like he does the same thing to me. My other customer and I, like she and I joke that we're coworkers because she's the only female.
Yeah.
Her husband's business. And we've known each other for 20 years. So there, you know, there's like a past relationship there. But I would rather do everything that I can for these 2 companies and my other handful that I run for when they need me, who I don't bug. They love me because I don't bug them. I know that their freight is not regular enough to like every 3 weeks send out my email. Like they don't want that. And I think that's why they come to me because I'll answer when they call and I'll do everything I can for them when they need me. But I'm not sending them 18 emails in the meantime. Like in between the shipments, I'm like, I'll just be right here when you need me.
You are unapologetically yourself. And I think you're really good at letting that shine through even via like LinkedIn. There's been a couple people that have been on the show, like a couple off the top of my head, like Grayson Teague and Nick Spears. When we talk about like customer acquisition, their thing is like, it's not like make more cold calls or send more emails. It's be yourself. Like if you can allow yourself to like the whatever it is that makes you you and makes you unique, if you can allow that to like shine through, that's actually like their number one tip for like finding new customers. Now, I know you said that you're not big on cold calling. I don't think most of us love it. What is your like your go-to tip if you lost, and God forbid, if you lost your customers tomorrow? What would be your like tip to the younger brokers and wannabe agents out there for finding new customers? Like what would be your route?
Well, I'll answer both ways because you don't want my first answer. My first answer is I would simply go find another job.
That's fair.
I just I'm out.
Yeah.
I'll that cash in the meantime. If that ever happens, y'all won't find me. You won't. I'm not, I won't. Maybe I could like here's the second half of the answer. Go somewhere. Go to a bar, bring cards with you. Go walk trade shows. Go literally anywhere and talk to people. Like, but I'm also extroverted like to a fault. I could make friends with the brick wall if I needed to.
Yeah,
So
you're
I'll
good at
talk
that.
to anybody in person.
Yeah, and that's the advice I think John Rogers has given.
Yeah.
We've talked about this a million times, but
Yeah.
anywhere you go,
You say, tell everybody what you do. Yes.
yeah, what problems you solve.
They
Yep.
want to engage in that conversation though. Like my thing about cold calling is I don't like to force people into a conversation that they don't want to have because I don't want that to happen to me. I'm also empathetic to a fault. So I would just, you're either totally okay with it and can just like smile and dial until the cows come home and take it and take it and take it. I'm not built that way.
Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy that you and I both are in sales. I'm on kind of the other end of the sales spectrum, but in sales nonetheless. And I really got my start in sales doing door-to-door window sales. And for any of you that don't understand the business model of that door-to-door business sale, is essentially pressure. It's a pressure sales tactic. So you go in telling a homeowner, and listen, if somebody knocks on your door and you're not ready for this, go hide in the corner behind the couch. Don't answer it. They will come in to give you a free estimate. And that free estimate is actually a pressure sales tactic to get you to buy that day. And it's crazy how often it works. And I've seen people, like, you can see it in their eye. I'm a very empathetic person myself. Like, I don't want to do this, but I don't know how the hell to get you out of my house. So I completely understand what you're saying on the side of like, I don't want to, ram my spiel down your.
I guess
Whatever.
I know that it's a necessary evil, right?
Mhm.
Because yes, if I were going to stay in the industry for the rest of my life, both of these customers decided to light me on fire. Yeah, to some extent you would have to cold call.
Tell me this. On a day-to-day, if everything goes well, your freight gets from A to B, and that's perfect. But we know that's not how it always goes. Tell me a little bit about like a situation. We were talking about one earlier. You can use this, but like something that like how do you handle when something goes wrong for one of your customers where like you obviously don't want to lose that business. How do you make sure that, first of all, any stories that you have, and then how do you handle it?
Yeah. I, knock on wood, have not had a ton go wrong. Outside of like delays on sites, or I did early on have like the wrong equipment type showed up. And then I just call another, like, I think the first time it happened, I went into a full panic and she was like, a Conestoga showed up and these can't fit in a Conestoga. And I was like, oh my God. But I call the carrier and I'm like, send a flat, or I get a new carrier to send a new truck. I'm like, because I can get a truck almost anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Almost. Within a couple of hours. Within reason. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, but like last week, and this is where it becomes like I tell people to make relationships with your carriers the same way you would your customers, right? So I run very expensive pumps from the manufacturer down to where they go and the company that uses them on job sites. So I had a shipment for customer B go to one of the vendors of customer A who builds the pumps last week. My regular carrier was running it. He knows, well, I thought he did, not to strap over top of these pumps. I have had that conversation with him before. Regardless. Pump gets to customer A's vendor. I get a call from customer A who is not paying for this shipment. He just knows that this has happened before I do. He's like, hey, this isn't my deal. This is your and so-and-so's deal. I just wanted to get ahead of it for you. Sent me pictures. This is what happened. They strapped the pump. The frame is now damaged. I was like, I mean, I won't go verbatim because I cursed, but I was like, the worst part about this is my regular carrier that I use 20 times a week. But I'm going to handle it. Once you figure out what the damage is, just let me know. And he goes, do you want to call him or do you want me to call him? And I said, I'll call him. My deal. I'll call him. No problem. He's like, okay, I'll let you know. Okay. I hang up the phone. I immediately call my carrier and I'm like, remember when I told you not to put, I went, and he was like, oh my God, what happened? And I sent him the picture and he was like, shit. It was a new driver. I forgot. I thought it was the other pumps. And I was like, any pumps, no pumps ever get straps over the top of them. Ever, ever, ever. I kind of yelled at him. I felt a little bad, but he deserved it. Hang up. Call customer B. And we don't talk on the phone. Like both of us know that if a phone call is being made, 9 times out of 10, something. So when either one of us calls the other person is like, oh God, what?
What happened? Right.
Yeah. So I called him. He answers the phone. Hey, Miss Serena. And I'm like, hey, guess what happened? And I explain it. And he's like, all right, well, I trust you to handle it. And I'm like, oh, no. Don't you worry. I'm on it. I'm just letting you know what's happening. I'm waiting on the damage quote. I've already cursed at the carrier and made him question his mother's love and why his father never came back from the gas station. He's probably going to need therapy after that, but I'm on it. And he was like, okay, just let me know. And I was like, all right, no problem. So it was very much like, and I had to call the carrier back and be like, listen, we're looking at possibly a $40,000 fix on these pumps.
Right.
Because it isn't just the frame. If the frame gets messed up, it compromises the integrity of the components that go inside the pump. Because I also ship the components. Like I ship all of the things that go inside these pumps and then the finished product.
Sounds like if you just rolled over and died, these companies would go under because you are like integral to all of their logistics needs.
No, they could not easily, but they could find somebody else. But the thing with customer A is she is buttoned up. Her emails for the freight that she needs are perfect. And I don't know who taught her that, maybe her own OCD. She sends me the most beautiful emails when she needs things. She is as detailed as they come. Customer B is chaos all the time. He has sent me wrong truck counts before, wrong addresses. Just like the forklift doesn't show up on site for hours. I had 6 to 7 trucks sitting in, I think, Georgia one day they got laid over a whole day and then sat all day waiting to get loaded. And he'll like laugh and be like, remember when I told you when we first started that this was chaos? And I was like, yep, nope, it's fine. I'm in it now. But this is why I don't worry about adding new people onto my book, because one, I don't really have the time unless I wanted to be fully stressed out all the time, but I don't. My quality of life is way too important to me. I have kids that I have to pick up from school. I have lunches that need to be made in the morning. I've got trick or treating that has to go on. Christmas planning. I have birthdays happening. Like my daughter turns 15 in a couple of days. Like I'm good in my little corner of the world. Like I said, I'm good in my corner of the world.
You don't need the 100% stress. You're good at
No,
75%.
I'm good at 75.
Yeah.
And at
Yeah.
this point, like I jokingly said that because something happened Wednesday, at my customer B does more volume. It's organized chaos, but it was the truck's fault. Same carrier, my favorite carrier, sent his truck there to get loaded. He didn't have enough chains. Don't know why. I didn't find this out until 3 hours later. My customer. But I didn't find out until a few hours later when the customer found out because he's in charge of the fleet. But I ended up being like, and I got it fixed. He was like, he had to get light loaded because he didn't have enough chains. So now I might have to send one of my trucks out or he has to come back. And I was like, no. I'll get him back there with the appropriate amount of chains and you can finish putting the stuff on his truck. And later I'm like, do all of the guys in your yard not have my number? Like, can you just write it on the wall somewhere so that they can call me when these things happen immediately so I can get it handled immediately?
Yeah.
And not hours later when it finally gets to you that this happened. And he was like, well, it kind of changes. I'm like, write it on the break room wall. Like, if I'm an entity of you, I need, like, help me help you.
Right.
I could have handled this hours ago before he even left the yard. And I was like, listen, no, he's going to turn around. He'll be back first thing in the morning. You put whatever else you need to put on his truck and he'll go. Cause I then had to call my carrier and be like, how many chains and binders are you supposed to have on your trucks? He goes 8 to 16. I said, your guy showed up with 4. He was like, shit. I'm like, so now he has to turn around and go back. And he was like, all right, let me get, I'm like, because at first he was like, well, I'll send another truck and they can, fully. And I was like, no. The guy that has this stuff on his truck is going to go get the appropriate amount of chains from wherever he needs to get them from and go back and take the rest of the stuff.
Right.
He was like, okay, let me work on it. I'm like, strike 3, my man.
Yeah. Yeah. That's it. Yeah. A couple weeks ago here when I sat down with Lucine Araklian, or I'm butchering her last name, lovely lady and extremely, extremely talented, moving freight, especially in the hazmat niche. And her advice, and we're going back a little bit here, but her advice was, if you want to be a successful agent, study. And studying can be used very loosely. I think what she was referring to was a lot like you're doing with moving these pumps. Like, you are learning that niche inside and out just by moving this stuff every single day. If you were to, and you're not going to lose these customers, of course, but if you were to lose these customers and like you decided not to just get out of the industry, like you probably could turn around and you're so dialed in with what you're doing now, you'd find 2 new customers in 2 days. I'm sure of it. I have an agent right now, actually, who's doing just that. He's really, really smart within like recycling. And he had to basically rebuild his book. He found 6 customers in this terrible freight market we have right now in a month. So it's definitely possible. And another thing, we're going to switch gears a little bit. Serena, we were talking earlier about carriers. Last week when I was talking with James Peoples, we were talking a lot about drivers and how drivers don't really like freight brokers.
Yeah.
But you've done a really, really good job of finding the right carriers for your business, where you're not like just posting things on load boards every day. How did you do that? Because I think that's like, you said it earlier, like treat your carriers like your customer.
Yeah.
How do you find the right ones?
So when I started running, the pumps come out of Oregon when they're done. When I started doing that, it obviously took some trial and error. And as soon as somebody does the things that I ask of them and kind of makes my life easier, I kind of keep them. I have a little carriers tab in my email. I haven't used it in a while, but I haven't had to. But I started kind of keeping note of like who was running it. And then we, once the volume hits, you're like, let's go back to these carriers and see how much they can handle a week. Or if they can get a truck down to Texas and turn around and do that again the next week, right? And where they need to be price wise. If I can make this work for my customer, let's kind of work together on this. And I've ended up with a handful of Oregon carriers that hold trucks for me if they know that I've got pumps going out. Reach out to me weekly to see if I need them. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. We had a couple of delays go on in the production process of these pumps a couple of months ago. But it's nice to have it's the people that don't, the drivers that don't get to a job site and throw a fit because they have to tarp, even though they know they had to tarp. It's the drivers that don't show up in proper PPE and don't get out of their truck in sandals. And,
right. Yeah.
To me, it seems very simple. Again, I'm fresh I'm not like a seasoned, hardened by the industry broker. So I haven't seen all the things. I wasn't here during COVID. I wasn't here for all of the things that have gone on in the last 5 years. But I'm a very logical person. So that's where it becomes a little harder for me, I think. But I also have the luxury of customers that trust me to pay carriers fairly and mark it up fairly.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I am able to pay those carriers what they need, and I'm not bringing them down to the bare minimum, because that's kind of when you get in the murky water. But I've had a ton of drivers be like, yeah, brokers are terrible. And then once they work with me a couple of times, they're like, even earlier, I took a call on one of my lanes that I had to post, and he only had, I think, 2 loads in our system history. Nicest guy you've ever met on the phone. And I initially was like, well, you only have, and he was like, I have references. And I was like, you know what? I'll give you a shot. Everybody deserves a shot. I love a good old boy driver. They're my favorite. Now, I have drivers of all ethnicities that run for me. They run well for me. I am in no way being that way about carriers, because I know how some people can be about it. You work hard, I'll work hard for you. I'll treat you well, you treat me well, we're good. But I love the good old boys. And you can hear it on the phone, right?
Right.
You answer the phone, they're like, hey, I'm looking up. I'm like, yeah.
That's my guy.
Get in your truck, Errol. And he was like, and I was like, listen, I'll give you a shot. I'm happy to. Like, just don't prove me wrong. Like, I'm putting very expensive stuff, but I'm like, if you can send me references, he's verified in my system, right? We verify everything through Highway. He's verified. He just doesn't have a ton of history for me to go off of. But every once in a while, I'm like, you know what? I'm going to run off your vibe. Go for it. And it's almost always worked out well for me. Like, I actually can't tell you a time where I've gone off straight vibes off the phone and been disappointed. So
yeah, real quick, yeah, who was it? Brian Leadingham. We talked about this on one of the earlier episodes, and I asked him about this exact thing. Like, how do you avoid the various carrier scams that are out there? And he said, like, the number one thing outside of all the vetting that we do is the gut check. And if something doesn't feel right, and you're kind of on the other side of that, where it's like, hey, I like this is good energy. Sometimes you just got to lean into that. What is your gut telling you?
Right. And it also works the other way. Like, I've been like, you're verified in here, but I don't have time to mess with it. And I tell them respectfully, I'm like, listen, your rating in our system is not great, and I don't have time to maybe another time. Now's not the time. But I think I try very hard to respect what they do because I'm never going to do it. I couldn't. I can barely back up my Tahoe down my driveway. Okay. So I'm never going to get behind the wheel of a semi. I'm not going to spend days on end away from my family. I'm not going to sit alone in a vehicle and talk to the walls.
Oh, kudos to the drivers.
Respectful of their time and what they're doing. When that respect is lost on their end, whether it just be they have a bad taste in their mouth from another broker and they want to take it out on me, now we're not being respectful. And I had a driver cuss me out while he was tarping a load that he was getting paid to tarp. He knew beforehand, he signed up for it. And I was literally driving my kid to school. This was maybe a year ago. Not even. And he was like, now it's raining. And I was like, listen, man, I don't know who you're mad at, but it's not me. If you're going to be disrespectful, I'm going to be disrespectful. And I've got my kid in the car and she doesn't care. So stop talking to me that. And he was like, I'm sorry. I'm just mad. And I was like, okay, but you don't get to be disrespectful. And a lot of the time, I think it comes from, unfortunately, after we've conversed via email, my picture is in my email signature. They see my photo and they're like, I can roll over on her. And I'm like, no, you cannot.
No.
Like, I'm not the one. I put that in there to be more personable. But the moment you think that you can take advantage of me because I'm an attractive woman is the moment that I make you cry.
I think your email signature actually does say in the bottom, I'm not the one.
It should. I'm gonna edit it in there.
Mama Duck, I'm not the one.
Don't try me, ho.
Don't try me. We're at the tail end of the show. One more question. We'll do one more question, Serena. And this is like the most common one that I see. You've been doing this for a little over a year now. If you had to, with your experience, and again, God forbid, it's not going to happen, but let's just say your current brokerage, something goes wrong, they shut down, and you have to tomorrow take your customers to a new brokerage. What are you going to do in terms of like checking various agent programs? Like, are there certain things that you need, certain things you want to stay away from? What is your advice for anyone looking to become an agent on that side of things?
Oversight. Like, I don't want anybody controlling how I operate at all. Like, my boss thinks I'm hilarious in the way that I operate with my customers. He finds it so funny and whatever. He's so supportive of the way that I am. I don't want, this sounds maybe terrible, but I don't want parameters that I have to follow. Like, you have to make X amount of calls. You have to send out X amount of, like, I haven't checked my CRM in 8 months. I don't use it. And I don't want somebody that's like, I don't want to operate under somebody that's like, you have to do this, you have to do this, you have to do this. Like, I'm a 1099. I want to operate on my own. I need back office support that doesn't act like I'm pulling teeth when I need stuff, and a reasonable split. And just leave me alone.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, and that's
high split. I'm not greedy. I just need a reasonable split and to be left alone.
Yeah, and the splits are getting, like, the agent space is becoming so damn competitive. The splits are just getting better and better. I think probably even 5 years ago, 60% might have been like a baseline, and now you're hard pressed to find less than 70. But this is all kind of predicated on the size of your book as well. So if you are brand new, don't really worry so much about the split. What's more important is just having a book of business and a sustainable book of business. You don't want, there's good business and there's bad business. You don't want bad business. You don't want customers that are racing to the bottom price wise, where they're just going to like, adios, somebody is doing it for cheaper than you. We don't really care about carrier quality.
What's that saying? Not all freight is good freight.
That's right. Not all freight is good freight. Not all business is good business.
Yeah. Like, and again, some people don't care about their quality of life. They just want to hustle and grind until they die, and that's fine. Then yeah, run everybody's freight that'll give it to you and go after everybody you've ever known and everybody in the phone book. by all means. I have had a few people that have reached out to me, and it's like they're sending me quote requests, but they're also sending it to 3 or 4 other people, and they're just choosing the cheapest. I'm like, I don't have time for this. If you need a truck, tell me and I'll get you a truck. I'm happy to. Tell me where you need to be on price. Happy to do that. If we're playing the lowest man wins game, I don't have time.
You're not
if you
the one.
guys already have a book, you do have the time. I used to have the time for that. I don't anymore. I'm very picky about my time and what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Because I work
As you should be.
So, now I'm at a place where I can kind of be picky, and I guess to answer what John wanted to know, what was John's thing? He wanted to know like how I adapted.
Yeah, emotionally and mentally, how you.
Short answer, it was really hard for me to not be making money at first because you're kind of like a sitting duck, pun intended.
You sure?
Yeah, they're all right here. But, and like, you kind of feel like in the beginning you're not really doing it. And it was like, I was causing more strain on our financial situation because I wanted to try this new thing that I wasn't immediately good at. Like I was the best bartender south of the Mason-Dixon for almost 20 years because I cared. That's how I operate. Anything that I'm doing, I care. Like I'm going to do it to my full extent. I'm going to enjoy it while I'm doing it. And I'm going to make friends along the way. Now I'm in this space and and then it kind of started to pick up. And then I, my husband was like, listen, if you're not making steady, regular money by February, we're going to have to pull the plug. I was like, that's more than fair. He was being so supportive that I had to give him that, right?
Yeah.
Like, there's got to be a cutoff when your partner is not bringing in any income, even though he brings in plenty. It was hard on me emotionally to not be bringing in any income because they're my kids. These aren't his children. He married me, so he signed the contract for them, but like, they're mine. And they're teenagers now, so things are expensive. And then I finally got to the point where I was like, I got top sales for the first time and I called him crying. And he was so proud of me. And I've heard him like sing my praises to really anybody that will listen.
Yeah.
Even when he doesn't think I can hear him. I could cry.
I love it.
Anyway. But like, even my grandmother like called me one day and she was like, we're on the road. Are all these trucks yours? And I was like, no, Mimi, that's not how it works. But I love you for thinking.
That's adorable. And what we're talking about is we had a question from John Larari who said, I want everyone to know, well, I guess it's a statement and kind of a question. I want everyone to know what Serena went through emotionally and mentally, making a huge career change like she did. And then how it felt to become the top salesperson in her company under a year, which is just extremely impressive. And you should be so proud of yourself, Serena. It's incredible. This is not a great freight market. And to do that is great. Truly, truly impressive. And we're all proud of you. You're doing an awesome job. We'll wrap this up. We're a little bit over here. Is there any advice, anything you have for anybody out there that you want to have heard?
Just like be kind to each other, please. There's freight everywhere. Everybody's like, just be nice to each other. We're all here to support. Like I've met so many lovely, supportive people, but if you're trying to like be gross about being a freight broker, just like don't go do something else. Just treat people with respect, be honest with your customers, be honest with it. Like just be honest and be kind. We're all in this together, right?
I'm with you. Yeah. The industry is transactional and cold enough. If you just put a little bit of like heart and soul into this thing, man, it comes back to you tenfold. So great advice, Serena.
Just care what you're doing. And the amount of brokers that I've had that I see posts on LinkedIn, they're like, I need XYZ to XYZ, no brokers. I'm like, I can just tell you the name of a carrier. I'm happy to help you. Alex called me earlier asking for help. He's my friend. he knows that I don't, and I do the same to all of these, like AJ and Adam. I am in a group chat with them. Like, we bounce stuff off each other all the time. So a lot of the time it's, not HR appropriate. But if I need something, or like anybody needs, like, it can be like a collaborative thing. It doesn't have to be like cutthroat and weird.
Yeah.
That's my dog fighting.
Keep your circle small, keep it tight with good people. It doesn't have to be HR appropriate, but keep good people in it. All right, everybody, we're going to wrap this up. Thanks again for joining us. New episode every Monday, 9 a.m. Central Time. Again, find us on TikTok, Spotify, YouTube, LinkedIn. Like, comment, share the good vibes. Thanks again, Serena.
Thank you.
Bye, everybody.